okay? Hello World Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality of this hair. And, well, things are a little hectic this week. I had to catch up on a lot of stuff. I didn't exactly have a lot of things prepared for today, so I had to figure out something to keep the algorithm happy and provide some content that might actually be worth watching. Quite a conundrum for someone who only is interested in watching movies and talking about them, so that's already what I do. And that's probably what you really want to see, is actually me talking more about movies, but I'm not used to that. So, how about we talk about something a little different? I recently had a little thing kind of pop up where I just felt the need in my life for a keytar. Now, my fiance pointed out the fact that I had no idea how to play a keytar. Never played a keytar before in my life. Never played any kind of piano or keyboard or anything. And I already had an instrument that I wasn't using. It wasn't even in my place. It was back in storage. So she convinced me to go and pick that up instead. And that brings us to my bass. I always get asked, what do you play? And it's bass. Now, I don't play it very often, as you can probably tell. But I just tuned this because, you know, like I said, I don't play it very often. And I do still enjoy plucking away at it. And like, I've played bass technically since my 20s. Lou, you might not want to keep your head there. Played bass since my 20s, but only as a technicality. I never really spent all that much time sitting there playing bass. There was kind of this idea at the time, like, hey, music is a thing that you can do that you enjoy. A musician is a career that you might be able to pursue. And so if you're going to get into this, if you're going to spend time on this, then it's probably going to have to be as a professional pursuit. So you might have some happiness at some point in your life. And it became kind of clear relatively early on that it was going to take a whole ton of time to practice to get that good that I really didn't have at the time, and that meant that any chance of me pursuing it as sort of a professional thing is not really feasible, so I just kind of set it back and didn't really think about it too much. But see, the problem is I do actually enjoy playing, so I went and I got this at the request of my fiance, who said, you shouldn't get a keytar, you stupid bastard. Just get your bass and play your bass if you want to play music so much. And since then, just playing for fun, just playing to enjoy myself because I like playing, I've actually played more than I had in all that other time, and I got a lot better. Now, I'm not good. I am not good, but I've gotten a lot better. Now, first things first, I have to clip my nails because the index and middle fingers here, you need to clip those nails. If you want to play finger bass, you gotta clip your nails. So let's do that real quick. Just doing this kind of reminds me to talk about how, I took that week off from making a second video shortly before I got sick, and YouTube made me regret that real fast with how much lower it sent out notifications for the review that went up that week. And then, of course, falling sick, not being able to put anything up, that's not helping matters any. And then there's the fact that it got demonetized, which also doesn't help. It's just sitting there with, no ads running on it. I'm still waiting for the copyright stuff to get taken care of on the Halloween Kills review. That is a pain. It really shouldn't be taking quite this long. But yeah, when you clip your nails for the bass, you gotta clip them real short. This is like the instrument to play if you're a nail biter. If your nails are already ridiculously short and they just keep getting shorter, ooh, pick up a bass, you'll have such a clean sound. Okay, turn on the amp, and we got ourselves a beautiful, beautiful instrument right here. We need to turn up that volume. Yeah, just a root E string there. That. You know, all things considered, I think I'll turn the volume up a little more. Wait a minute. There's my problem. The volume knob on the bass itself was set too low. So yeah, we're just doing root notes here. That's very simple. But you know, when it comes to bass, one of the things is most bass lines aren't particularly complicated. There's little jokes about that, you know, it doesn't take much to be one of the greatest bassists in the world. But that's kind of a lie, considering the fact that if you've ever seen anyone play slap bass, which you're not going to be seeing here today, you know that it takes a lot to be really good at bass. Now, I'd love to be that good at bass, but I ain't. I just have little things that I've been kind of playing, which are usually like on the E string, root 3, 5. That's kind of my realm. My phone interrupting me here. So in case you didn't recognize that, that's pretty much the only thing I ever play. That was the bass line for the opening of Phantasy Star 4 on the Sega Genesis. Root 3, 5, 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 root 3, 5. So that's kind of how that one goes. Now I'm a little off practice right now. I was doing a little bit better at doing the chorus, more of like the bridge and such of Would You Love a Monster Man, which is a very simple song to learn on bass. As I said, like, what was the main, the main thing was just like, just a second fret on the A string, just over and over again. It's just how it goes. Which one was it? Damn it, I can't remember. If I had the tablature in front of me, I might be able to figure out. Or the musical, the music sheets. I actually have been learning that a little bit. I'm still mostly knowledgeable on bass tab, of course, because I'm a stupid. But, as of course, if you like your roots and your 3s and your 5s, there's always... Missed it. Dang it. I'm not very good at this, like I said. Now, the thing with playing bass, it's been such a thing that's been hard for me to wrap my head around, is just working my left hand on the fretboard. It's... I'm just noodling here. Just the strings are so thick and so heavy, and you gotta be very careful how you handle them, because if you're a little bit too weak and off-center, you get that lovely sound. So you go right on the fret, and it's also liable to mess up there. So you hold it real. That's a nice hammer-on right there. You don't want to do that though usually, so you gotta gently put it down and hold it real tight behind the fret, and there we go. That's a nice clean pick. Clean little pluck. And I can't, hoiting my fingy there, hoiting my fingy. It's just a lot of pain working the fretboard, and I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure exactly what I'm doing here. And so that's kind of been my journey with bass. I've been enjoying plucking, noodling, just doing fantasy stuff. well, I still kind of had the problem where, as much as I enjoy the sound of bass, I'm not very good at playing it. And one of the reasons why I thought, you know, a keytar could really be the way to go for me is because I'm a computer guy, I'm a gamer, I've spent my entire life figuring out how to press buttons really well. So it seemed like the thing to do. Like, it's like, why didn't I think of this before? Why was it not the keytar that I gravitated towards in the first place? I like the sound of bass, but I am not very good at playing it. I can improve, and I will. I'm going to keep playing bass. I'm going to still see what I can do here. But it's a painful road. It is a painful thing to have to... Well, okay, I think that surprise has been spoiled. I didn't realize that was in frame. So let's turn off that amp there and bring in that which I decided I should go for. This would be an Alesis Vortex Wireless Generation 1. Now, funny story about this keytar. Now, when I was saying I wanted a keytar, it was a while ago, and the keytar I had my eyes on, of course, would be the Roland Axe Edge, which I still have my eyes on, but it costs $1,150 before taxes, or shipping, or however many other things are going to add to that price. So I was like, you know, that's a little bit rich for my blood, but I still really want a keytar. And the thing is, like, I was very vocal about that. And then I went ahead and I saw this, and I put in the order for it right before all that crap with my AC happened. So then I was in a little odd position where I'm like, oh crap, my AC went, it cost a butt ton, and I mentioned that to my subscribers, and I got a lot of support for that, some financially, and it's gonna be a real bad look if I'm like, okay, by the way guys, I bought a keytar. Now, don't worry, it's not that bad, because like I said, this is an Alesis Vortex Wireless Generation 1 used, and the reason I got this was because I was, you know, trying to find a decent keytar with a lot of nice features that would still be cheap enough for the, you know, my first keytar, just learning what I'm doing. Like, I didn't want to get something so bad that it's like, well, obviously you're gonna have to upgrade this as soon as possible. But I also, like, the Alesis Vortex Wireless 2 new is like $400, and I'm thinking like, well, at that point I may as well spring the $1,200 for the Roland Axe Edge. Just get the one that I want right away instead of spending $400 frickin' on a new keytar like that. This one doesn't market for that. This brand new was marketed at $300. Also, like I said, I got this used, and its support is discontinued. Like, Alesis does not really support this anymore, and I was able to get it. I found it on a listing on eBay for $100. So I was like, okay, yeah, 100. I can spring that for a keytar that isn't quite what I want, but still has a ton of features that I am very interested in. And what are those features, might you be asking? Now, we got a decent-sized keyboard on this. We've got the little drum pads there that are in the Generation 1 version of this. They're very odd shapes. They work inconsistently. That's probably why they changed them in Generation 2 to the more standardized drum pad format. Probably work a lot better. You got your octave shift, got your pitch ribbon, you got your pitch wheel on the Vortex. That's one of the things about the Alesis Vortex line, is that it has the pitch wheel, unlike a lot of other keytars, where the pitch wheel is common on a lot of keyboards, but, you know, the only keytar that necessarily has one is the Alesis Vortex. But also, technically speaking, the Alesis Vortex is the only keytar that has ever been marketed as a keytar. Like, that's the word they used. So there's that. got your sustain button, you got your ribbon mode settings, you got all these buttons. I have no idea what they do because I didn't have a manual with this. I don't know quite how to set this, and the stuff to be able to set it up on a PC, yeah, they don't support this version in software anymore, so that's great. Also, Elise's whole website was really wonky on that, because in order to be able to get the software, that you need the keytar to use the software anyway, you needed to provide the serial number for the keytar to be able to get the software, and because this was discontinued, they just kept giving me a dead link, and then I asked the support, and they sent me a link to the new one, but that's not compatible with this anyway, so it's like, well, that's that. I just don't have the software to be able to customize this through Windows. So, unless I can figure out how to work all this stuff, if it can be worked without using a computer to program it, then, you know, I don't know. But, as another issue here is, unfortunately, while this is a wireless, it works via a wireless dongle. And unfortunately, while that was included in the listing, it was not in the box. Now, I must say, I have 100% faith that the person who sold me the keytar did put it in the box. The box that arrived, the cardboard was good quality cardboard. The tape was phenomenal quality tape, like this black tape. It was very tough, very sturdy. But the box was torn completely open on the top. It wasn't like there's a little hole in it. It was like the whole top was open, like up. And that's how UPS delivered it to me, and I absolutely do not believe that that is how it was sent. That tape was too good quality, that cardboard was too good quality. Someone at UPS ripped this thing open. They probably were driving down here like, wow, look at this place. Huge lawn, big house, huge box. What's this motherfucker got? Let's get to see if we can just jack this shit. Oh, it's a fucking keytar. And then just kind of put it back. But, well, while the top of the box was ripped open, one of the flaps was also missing. The wireless dongle might have been taped to that, I don't know. The end of it all, I didn't get the wireless dongle, and I do not blame the person who sold me this. It was very frustrating, very sad, and I couldn't get any word from Elise's support when I asked them if the wireless dongle version 2 works with this, so I don't know. But you might notice this has a little sticker on it, the Illumin80s, and there's a little interesting story about that, because I got this shipped to me from Arizona. And the Illumin80s, that band is from Arizona. And, well, the person who sold me this, their eBay name had listed as Benjamin, and the person who runs the Illumin80s group on one website I went to trying to do some research on them, the moderator there is Benjamin, and there are pictures of the band with their keyboardist playing a keytar, which is an Elise's Vortex Wireless Generation 1 with an Illuminati sticker on it, right there. So I'm pretty sure that Ben sold me his keytar, so thanks, Ben. Thanks. I'm sorry about the whole mix-up with the wireless dongle. I don't blame you, and I know when I sent you those messages like, hey, where the hell's the wireless dongle? It probably wasn't the best, like, probably didn't give you the best feeling there or most confidence in the person who you sold it to. But yeah, I believe you that you actually did send it, and UPS just tried to steal my package and then decided they didn't want a keytar. So, there's that. But, unfortunately, as I don't have the wireless dongle, that means I cannot use this keytar wirelessly, but it has a lot of other ports there. What we got here is a printer cable, a USB-B to USB-A. We plug that right into the USB port, switch this over to USB power, pop open a compatible Windows PC with, or maybe, I don't know if it's it works on Mac. I don't know, I never use Mac. I'm a Windows guy, sorry. Okay, come on, where's my power? Where's my power? There we go. Plug that in there. Lights up. Lights up. And now, the thing is, this is a MIDI controller, meaning that this does not have any onboard synthesizer. This does not make sound. You plug this into something else that makes sound. Now, as I was trying to do this as cheaply as possible with my $100 keytar, I wasn't looking to spend a whole bunch of money on a digital audio workstation or any kind of software synthesizer, so that left me in a bit of a bind. As a lot of that stuff cost a ton. Cost an absolute ton. But I'm trying to do this as cheaply as possible just so that I can start playing keytar, figuring this stuff out for myself. So, eventually I came across SoundBridge, which has a free trial version that the only thing you have to worry about is every time you load it up, it asks you if you'd like to donate to help support it, so all I gotta do is tell them no. The digital audio workstation is great, but you still need a synthesizer. You still need, I can't remember what the name of the file is, of the file type is, but you needed something loaded in to be able to actually synthesize music. And fortunately, Roland has a Zenology thing they've got, which is like several $100s a year subscription. You can't own anything, you can only rent it. But with that, it has a free version, a light version, that has quite a few pretty nice quality instruments. Now, let's see. I also have a nice little amp for this as well. So, where's the master volume? Crank that up. No, that's not working right. Audio out. Why is it going through my... Come on, make the sound where I want you to make the sound. Why is it still coming from there when it's supposed to be going through there? It says it's going through there, but it's not going through there, it's going through there. I just close this and reopen it and hope for the best. There we go, just had to turn it off and back on again. Okay, so, yeah, got nice grand piano kind of thing, but, you know, playing grand piano is nice, but what are you doing it on a guitar for? Well, you can bend the notes. It's okay, dude. So there's a few things to note when playing keytar, is you gotta have to learn how to play keyboard, which I don't know. So I had to look up keyboard lessons and try and apply them to keytar. It's like, first lesson is find middle C. Now, there's C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That's the note group, and it goes here, and there's another C. Middle C. Just the one key, not the key next to it. There's your middle C. Unless you go like that, in which case, there's your middle C. Unless you go like that and shift the octave again, then there's your middle C. Middle C is always that note, but depending on where your octave is, it's somewhere else. Fun little things with a keytar, or any kind of small keyboard with an octave shift on it. But, like I said, this here is a synthesizer, a MIDI controller, and there are various things you can do with it. Now, there's also other things about this I should mention. The keys themselves are velocity sensitive on this, meaning you can press light or hard. That's interesting. Now, like I said, the pads here, they mostly work. For some reason, that one doesn't. I don't know if the previous owner had set that to not be not do anything. You can see it's lighting up, but no sound ever comes out of that one, no matter what I have it set to. Everything else is kind of set to an arrangement of low notes on the keyboard. I'm not entirely sure why, how, where, which, when. Gotta love the sustain button though. But we've got all kinds of different instruments we can synthesize. Classic synthesizer. Some strings. I just got just a nice arrangement of various sounds. And it's just fun to noodle around and just play with, as it were. But of course, I had to do what I had to do and try and figure out how to play the things that I already kind of know how to play. So I had to figure out how to make this sound like this. My bass. So we have pick bass, and if I shift the octave down too and press the E key, that sounds quite a lot like the root E. Now, moving down the keys, including the black keys, it can kind of translate the tablature into the keyboard. So, root, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sound familiar? And of course, there's all the others. All the root 3, 5 you can dream of. That also means that going five keys down, that isn't just 5 down on the E string, that is also A. That is A for the next string, and that is the A key, so it's easy to figure this out. It's pretty easy to translate tablature to keytar on that. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G. And there we go. That's pretty much the whole thing. You can't go all the way down. Like, you got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, if we're going from the G, can we go 20 keys down? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you can only go 17 frets down there. But then again, from the E, you can go back to even lower notes. And also, we could always bend the notes. And we could set exactly how far, well, we're theoretically supposed to be able to set exactly how far the note can bend. But I'm just noodling along, a little synthesized bass here. Just having a little fun, enjoying myself, trying my best to learn what I can. I got some things down some ways and some stuff, but really still have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm enjoying myself, and that's been the key for music for me. It's just, am I having fun? Am I enjoying myself? I'm not doing this to try and become the greatest keytarist ever. I'm just happy to be a keytarist. And technically I already count. I'd still really like that Roland X Edge, but I gotta make sure I got everything in my life squared away first. But yeah, I think that about does it for all I really have to say on this fine day. Got a lot of work ahead of me still, and hopefully I have something more entertaining to show with either of these instruments in the future. As of right now, I'm not good enough for that, but I'm working on it. So, thank you all for watching. I've been Shado, and remember, music just comes from the heart.